Hello, so today we are looking at assignment 5. So this assignment is due in 2 weeks, not necessarily because I think that it's going to take you 2 weeks, but it's that weird part of the term where you're doing some midterm. We've got a midterm coming up, and you'll see in the weekly content I gave you this practice midterm, which you should be pretty curious as to what your exam's going to look like. We'll talk about that at the time. But anyways, that's my thought on giving you 2 weeks on this. Additionally, it's going to be the first actually functional project that you're going to create, so I want to give you some time to do a good job with that if that's something you want to do. If all you want to do is meet the minimum criteria, that's fine too. Minimum criteria are going to give you a pretty decent product. So here we're looking at your criteria. So the idea here is you're going to create a site, and it's going to be some kind of a thing where users enter some sort of information, like a book collection, MP3 collection. I'm just thinking of projects from recent terms, like favorite sports teams, restaurants or bars, local hikes. I think I saw like a snowboard collection or something. You'll get a feel when I demo it for you. So it's going to be a website as opposed to a web page. So you're going to have at least 4 pages. You're going to have an index page. Now your index page can be just silly, and I suggested it probably is going to be silly. But as you're going to want to create a consistent theme and put a little bit of time into the design of your site. So I would start with the index page, right? Just come up with a layout so you can use that going forward. You have an insert page, a view page, and a search page. Now, view and search aren't terribly different. The difference is that view is just going to show everything in your collection, and search is going to, right, you search by the letter T or dinosaurs or something like that. So here's your criteria. The only interesting stuff I'd say is this part right here. I mean, the project itself will just kind of take care of it, but I am asking you to use require statements for like the head, foot, and nav part of your pages, right? Because every page on your site is going to have a head section, it's going to have a foot section, and it's going to have a nav bar. So take those common elements to all pages and try and put those into require statements. I'm making you do that because it's going to make your life a lot easier. I'll also tell you that you're going to be publishing this live. I can't really tell whether you use require statements or not. I'm just saying you should use them because it's going to make everything just that much more clean and easy to manage. It's a good idea to use requires for the common elements of your page. Trying to think, is there anything else? Oh, usability, I guess. So the layout should be consistent from page to page, and your site should be easy to navigate. It's going to have its own nav bar right on this page, and so I've talked about it. Let's have a look at my sample. So here's my home page. I just went with ipsum lorem. I think that's hipster text or something. You could have no text on your home page, but if I were you, I'd put some text on my home page. It could just be garbage, right? I mean, I don't know, it could be the last essay you wrote for your writing class. It doesn't matter to me. But it just kind of looks better. Oftentimes you can have some placeholder text here, or just literally ipsum lorem. This is my layout, so every page on my site looks like this. So my head is contains that. My foot is probably from there down, and there's my nav bar. Notice I put a nothing on there. It didn't matter. So nothing going on here. This is my home page, or my index page. And notice this is what I mean by you got to have a navigation bar for people to navigate around your site. So that's my home page. Here's my insert page. Simple form. So mine's a movie collection, so I'm going to put in I really shouldn't be sitting here thinking about this, but I am. Let's go Star Wars. I do like Star Wars, but I don't know them that well. I don't know what one's what. I think 4 was good. That's sci-fi, and I'm giving that one 5 stars. Right, and so those are my criteria. So your table that you're storing stuff in, everything needs an ID or a primary key, of course. Everything has a title. Everything has a rating. Everything has a category. Right, and you kind of saw those things there. If you have a cool idea, you're welcome to utilize some creativity here, but you're definitely gonna have a title, and you need some kind of a category to be able to search on, and a rating's a good idea. You could add more fields if you want. I add it, and nothing happens, right? If I did something wrong, data validation would say something like, I don't know what it would say. You need to enter a title or something. There's not a lot of mistakes to make here because I'm using these option selects. which you should use for like categories and ratings. All right, so that insert was pretty anticlimactic. This is my display page. So here's where you get to see everything in my database. There's my database. I just put in Star Wars. You saw me enter that and notice that it's there, right? So this is kind of like a search with no criteria. It's just select star from whatever the name of my table is, and I'm spitting it out in a tabular format. Some of the learning content for this week is about that, so this shouldn't be a impossible task for you because I covered it this week. Now the other part of this is pretty similar. It's search. So on the search page, you got to say, what are you going to search on, right? Like so title, category, rating. Let's say I do title, and if I put in star, I should get Star Wars. And that is all of the matching titles in my database, or in my table. Right, when you only have like 8 rows, your searches aren't terribly exciting. Notice I didn't put in Star Wars 4, I did star. So I'm using a like in my query, and that's one of the things that we will talk about. It's hard if you don't use a like, then it's kind of difficult to search because you have to spell it exactly correctly and the whole word. And if I put in like a T, that's going to give me every movie with a T in it. Now, one of the weird things about the like criteria is if you don't put in any criteria, you're going to get everything, which is the same thing as a display, which is kind of whatever. Right, so this is my search page. So I've got a home page with nothing on it. This is where I define the layout. I've got an insert page where I dump stuff into my table. Pretty good idea to use this right here. I got my display page, which shows me everything, and I got a search page, which allows me to look at a particular criteria. So like, for example, if I want to go rating, and I'm looking for 5-star movies, I get the 5-star movies. It's kind of funny. I almost entered Terminator 2 when I was sitting there trying to think of a movie to do. Terminator 2 is a good flick. So that's the project. This over here is nothing. I know why I did that. I was just messing around. I'm going to try and make an example of that in the weekly videos, but that's the assignment. So you got 2 weeks to get it done. It's not necessarily a 2-week assignment. If I were you, I would certainly make it a priority to get my homepage together. Just start thinking about the rest of it. I think once you start going with things, it'll come together pretty quickly. This page and this page are very, very similar. So that's the assignment, and so when I say that this is the first of the really cool kind of useful projects we're doing, it's because it is. So you got 2 weeks to get it done. If you're running into any issues with anything, let me know. I'll do the best I can to support you. So hopefully you understand what you're trying to do with this project now, right? It doesn't need to be a movie collection. It could be a collection of whatever you want. Creativity is always encouraged. Just make sure that you're going to be able to implement the project, right? Like, don't come up with some weird idea that just doesn't fit this project at all, because that might make it more difficult than it needs to be. If you've got any additional questions, send me an email.